What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Heart of the City, where we cover all your New York City area teams, and the city is smoking right now, man. We got the New York Knicks 3 games away from an NBA Finals appearance. We got the Subway Series took place this weekend. Mets warming up. Yankees trying to get back on track. We're going to get into that. Oh, not to be outdone, football. Yes, football is back. OTAs are cranking up. Giants are in OTAs right now. Jets coming up next week, I believe. And you already know we got Coach's Corner. We got Coach's Segment. And all that, much, much more. I'm your host on Popular Opinion Sports with my co-host, Coach Ed. And hey, man, we are the dynamic dude giving you Heart of the City 127. Before we get into it, man, please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed. If you feel the content, no obligations, but you can definitely help two brothers out right here. Coach, what's good, man? How you feeling tonight?
Yeah, I'm good, man. As always, step by step, one day at a time. So that's about it.
Definitely, man. Shout out to you. Shout out to Big Pat in the back doing the producer work. And also, shout out to the chat, shout out to the viewers, and shout out to New York, man. So we're going to get right into it, man. And not to be, without further ado, I should say, let's do it.
Ricey K, the Raisin Man.
Let's get back into it. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to Man Cave. Salute, man. What's good with you, bro? I know you pumped up about them Knicks, man. We're going to get into the New York Knicks here pretty soon. Daniel Bray Sports, man. Always supporting us, always, man. Appreciate you, and happy Wednesday to you too, bro. Thanks for tapping in. Yeah, like I mentioned, lots to get into. But before I do, man, how do you feel about the energy around the city? Do you feel a different energy, man? Because I know you're a little bit closer anyway than I am. As far as being in Jersey, obviously, me being down here in VA, but how is the energy up there in the city, man? Or in Jersey and New York?
Everyone I've talked to that I talk to that's tapped into the sports scene is really getting tapped in. They really are. Whether it's the Knicks right now, whether the Jets and the Giants. I mean, you can say whatever you want. Yeah, they didn't have winning seasons last year, but there are fans who really feel that, you know what, this year might be different for both teams. So, with the Yankees and the Mets, now I know the Mets, they're struggling right now, but there are Mets fans who believe that they're going to turn it around. One of my man Steve, he's a longtime Mets fan, definitely much older than me too. So, but he's on that borderline of optimistic, pessimistic. But he says with the talent, they should be playing better, and he's hoping that they can turn it around. And if they do, could you imagine a New York Subway Series again? I mean,
yeah,
it's the feeling is different around this area right now because I'm in North Jersey, and to my people down in Central Jersey, that really are on the borderline in North Jersey, they feel the same way.
Yeah, man. I can only imagine, man. You know what I'm saying? Because watching that game last night and listening to that crowd in the Garden, yeah, I remember games back in the 90s. I remember Knicks games. I remember Yankees games. Back then, and the energy that was there when you was in that environment. So I can only imagine the excitement right now, like you said, around especially the Knicks and the football teams, as well as baseball too. The Yankees are in contention. All right. We're going to hit these blocks, man. We're going to go around the city. So let's tap into it, man, and tap in and see what's going on in New York and see what all the excitement and the fuss is about. Let's get it.
I want the power, but I want the love and respect first. Said I want the power, but I want the love and respect first. Yeah, I want the power. But I want the love and respect first. Yeah, I want the power, the love and respect first.
All right, man. Let's get into it here. All right. Check it out. There we go. All right. So tapping into let's get into the Mets first. Let's do baseball. Get into the
New York Mets.
All right. So, where's my slides at? There you go. All right. Mets, man. So the Mets right now, the Mets lost to the Nationals 8-4. They have dropped the last couple games to the Nationals after the big series win against the Yankees over the weekend, the Subway Series. I was glad to be on the call with Mets, aka Snarf, part of the Aboriginal Sports Network, and the Mets of bats are starting to get it going a little bit, and their pitching has been solid throughout the season. So we'll see if the Mets can climb back in it. But today they took the L to the Nationals 8-4, and we'll talk a little bit about the Mets in the Subway Series a little bit later. But that is the Mets right now. Let's get into the New York Yankees.
New York Yankees.
So, Yankees and Blue Jays were delayed. Right now, it is what we got? Bottom of the second, 2 outs. So the Yankees right now trying to get the sweep. They got Cam Schiller on the mound. I don't know why I have a hard time pronouncing that name, but they got Cam on the mound right now. 1 hit, 1 strikeout. So he's got a 1.31 ERA, which is outstanding. So kid becoming a true ace out there on the mound for the New York Yankees. But 0-0 game against the Blue Jays. Like I said, going for the sweep after dropping that Subway Series over the weekend to the New York Mets. So let's get into let's go to football. Let's go to the Giants.
New York Giants.
All right, Giants getting OTAs started. And they had this little gala. They're having all these galas now and gatherings and galas, and I don't know. But anyway, so they had this little gala, and Harbaugh, Shane, and all of them was out there, whatever. And I just want y'all to listen to John Harbaugh. I'm gonna play a couple clips of John Harbaugh talking at this event. And to be honest with you, well, let's get into that later. Matter of fact, I'm gonna say that for the major portion of the show. But right now, OTA is going. I will show you the OTA clips a little later too. But well, they don't have any clips, but Giants getting OTAs going, and it's a lot of excitement around the New York Giants right now, and it's a lot of trash talking between these teams as we get into OTAs. Looking at some of these camp battles, we're going to be talking about that as well. So more on the Giants a little bit later. I'm going to save that for the other portion of the show. Let's go to the Jets.
New York Jets.
So here with the Jets. Jets, of course, signed Breece Hall, gave him a contract, and Jets get OTAs going next week, I believe, 27th to the 29th. And I'm going to tell you right now, though, this Jets team, they do have an opportunity to get better because they got this kid, Kenyon Sadiq, tight end. And I want you to listen at see if I can cue this up real quick. Kenyon Sadiq talking here with the New York Jets media. This was it's about a week ago. So I'm gonna play this clip real quick, and let me get it queued up. All right.
What's your mentality when you're blocking in the run game?
Yeah, go hit someone for sure. I don't really care who it is. I'm gonna go hit someone. And, if I'm gonna lose a rep, I'm gonna lose it. Trying to give it my all. It's kind of my own mentality that I've kind of carried throughout my career.
What's your mentality when you're blocking in the run?
So, kid says he wants to hit someone. Kenyon Sadiq. So I know Coach likes to hear that. But for real, man, I think the Jets definitely got a gem there in that first round drafting Kenny Sadiq. So let's go to the Knicks.
New York Knicks.
All right, you already know what the story here is. The big 22-point comeback win against the Cavaliers in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals, and there is all kind of smoke being given to the Cavs, man, for blowing this one, man. But I want to give some credit to the New York Knicks here, and you got to give some credit to one Mike Brown. And the thing with Mike Brown is you allow Jalen Brunson to do his thing in that fourth quarter, and also because we all know what he was doing to James Harden. I mean, just killing him, you know. But also the fact that a guy that I didn't necessarily trust, Landry Shamet, man. Mike Brown Mike Brown put him in the game and trusted him to make some big shots coming down the stretch. And the Knicks pulled that one out in overtime. And I'm telling you right now, if this Knicks team gets to the finals, they're going to be tough to beat. You know, they're going to be tough to beat because they have that chemistry that you need to win a championship. Are they more talented than the Spurs and the Thunder? Shit, maybe even the Cavs, people could say. Maybe not. But they have the chemistry, and they definitely have a player that doesn't get a lot of credit. Jalen Brunson, he's a star in this league. You got to say that. So got to give him his credit, man. Shout out to the Knicks. Let's go to the Nets, a team going in another direction.
Brooklyn Nets.
So right now on Twitter, there's let me see, where is it? There's a thing that from The Athletic, and the Brooklyn Nets, I'm gonna show this to y'all. The Brooklyn Nets are they're ranked 5th as far as this player poll. There y'all go. Y'all can see that. This player poll of players with least want to be traded to. So you see Memphis Grizzlies, Washington Wizards. Poor AJ DeBonsa. He don't even have a say in the game. He's just gonna get drafted by him. But good luck, kid. Sacramento, New Orleans, and then Brooklyn. Brooklyn at 5%. What's interesting there, they'd have New York, the Knicks, obviously. So 2 things this tells me. 1, the Nets are far, far away from contention because it's going to be hard to get true stars who want to go there. Everybody's talking about Giannis, and Giannis ain't trying to go to the Brooklyn Nets. They all seen what happened with the Kevin Durant disaster and how that all worked out. Don't think nobody's trying that no time soon, especially with the Knicks being good. And 2, it tells me that it ain't easy playing in New York, and that a lot of players do not want to play here just because of the pressure. Because why else would the Knicks be on that list when they're actually a good team? So I thought that was interesting there. We could talk about that a little bit later if you guys got any comments or want to say anything about that. But yeah, the Nets got to get this pick right here at number 6. And if not, it's going to be a long road up. All right. Got a little hockey news. So let's go to hockey here.
NHL.
All right, man. the New York Rangers, as I mentioned, have the 5th overall pick and looking to take one of the top defenseman prospects out there, because they're not going to get the top guys. It's the same thing we talked about with the Brooklyn Nets. So again, the Rangers got to nail this pick here, 5th pick in the NHL, the 2026 NHL draft. I believe it's in June. I don't know the exact date. It just says it's 37 days away. Y'all do the math. All right. Let's go to the Islanders. Islanders announce ECHL affiliate agreement with the Trenton Ironhawks. The Trenton Ironhawks, let me get this up here. So remove. There you go. So Islanders getting another minor league team in Jersey, in Trenton. Trenton joins Hamilton as the primary minor league affiliates for the Islanders organization. So hopefully they can get some talent to go along with it, because this team, as all these hockey teams, have been struggling. And with the Devils, I thought this was interesting. Y'all can go read this if you want to. It says the New Jersey Devils can learn from the New York Giants about draft philosophy. Can you say that again? The New Jersey Devils can learn from the New York Giants about draft philosophy. Okay, so what are they saying here? They're going back talking about Ernie Accorsi. I'm going to skim through this real quick for y'all. And how Ernie Accorsi talked about never having enough pass rushers and, continuing to draft pass rushers. As you see the Giants, put this philosophy in place here with the new regime. What they're saying here in this article is that pass rushers and in the NHL is centers. So, you want to keep drafting centers and you want to stack up on talent. And that's pretty much what they're saying here. Just keep adding to the pool, keep getting better. So, but like I said, I'm not going to read through all this. This has been Around the City. Let's get into the meat and potatoes of this thing, man.
I want the power, but I want the love and respect first. Said I want the power, but I want the love and respect first. Yeah, I want the power, but I want the love and respect first. Yeah, I want the power, the love and respect first.
All right, man. Back at it, man. Coach, you got any comments on anything I said in Around the City, man, before we get into the New York Knicks and getting into this game 1 and looking at game 2 coming up?
Just the Devils. How you gonna let the Islanders come into your backyard and establish roots like that? That was it. I mean, I'm being petty. I know. But it's like, Trenton, from Long Island to Trenton. But in all seriousness, this is what these teams do. No, seriously, baseball, they set up in other areas. It's not like you set up around your local area, and I understand that. So, and that's fine. That's cool. It was just, I found it funny. Trenton, I'm like, Yankees are in Trenton, and now the Islanders. So it's like, okay.
Taking over Jersey, and you got the name Giants and Jets over there too.
It's North Jersey. North Jersey is Central Jersey. Into North Jersey is still part of New York. It really is. So it don't really matter.
Yeah,
if the Devils win, then look, they'll win, and guess what? People will love him. So, all right.
That's true. That's a good way to look at it. All right, man. Check it out. So the Knicks, they really went at James Harden last night. And look, I know James Harden. A lot of people make fun of him and all this and all that, but you know, he's been an MVP in the NBA before. But defensively, we all know that he has limitations. So Mike Brown looked at this thing and said, hey, let's go at him. Leaf, what's good with you, man? Appreciate you tapping in. Let's get. I wanna play this from Mike Brown real quick, and because we gotta understand that. Look, coaching does matter in the NBA too. So you know, a lot of us don't look at it like that. You know, a lot of it's star driven, but Mike Brown did a good job coaching last night. So I want to play a couple clips here, and then we can sort of react to this. Let's get it.
Coach, in the fourth quarter there, you got a lot of Brunson on Harden. I mean, was that just something you guys were looking for, and is that kind of an advantageous matchup for you that really helped you guys down the stretch?
Yeah, you know, it's sometimes you got to do what the game dictates, and they were trying to do the same thing with Jalen, and so we said, okay, you know, we feel like we can play that game. We try not to play that game much, but we feel like we have a guy that we can play that game with, and Jalen. And so, you know, just like we have to try to figure out different ways to guard Harden and Mitchell, they got to figure out different ways to guard Jalen. But there's no secret we were attacking Harden.
Coach, in the fourth quarter there, you got a lot of Brunson on
Harden. Mike Brown comes right out and says, look, it's no secret we attacking James Harden. Y'all gonna do it to Brunson, so we gonna do it to y'all. Pretty much is what he said. And hey, look, I'm with that because, yeah, if you got a hole on your team, I'm going right at it. If you got a weakness on your team, I'm going right at it. It's in any sport. Why not? Why would you play to the other team's strength? You know, so. Yeah, they should keep attacking James. As long as Kenny Atkinson wants to put James Harden in the lineup, we all knew this trade for James Harden, that James Harden is not a winner, you know? And part of the reason is because you don't play both ways. These one-way players don't win in this league. You got to play defense. So, again, exposed. But why didn't the coach make the adjustment to pick him up or take him out the game? You know, if Mike Brown said, okay, cool, I'm going to leave my defensive liability in the game, which is Jalen Brunson, and just have him cook you on offense. But James Harden wasn't cooking nobody on offense, and he's getting cooked on defense. Why is he in the game? But coach, speak on what the Knicks coach said here and Mike Brown in attacking James Harden and what your thoughts was on that game last night.
I mean, Mike Brown said exactly what needed to be said. Harden is the liability. You attack a team's weakness by trying and also minimizing as much of their strength as possible. And you utilize your strength to your advantage hopefully to attack their weakness, which was Brunson on Harden. And he's saying, look, it's not a secret. You could see, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, it was 7 or 8 straight possessions. They came down and scored directly on Harden.
Yeah.
And it's not just Brunson who was hitting on Harden. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, Mikal Bridges hit a corner 3 with Harden over there. Jay Williams today on Get Up, he even showed it. That Harden was at one point in no man's land on that play. You know, it was, you know, what is he doing?
Bad, bro.
Yeah, it was just like, you know, and he got over there late. You had also Landry, who Harden was his assignment.
Damn it, man. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's you know, Mike Brown basically said what we all knew, you know, and he wasn't trying to be the quote unquote smartest man in the room. He knows what everybody saw. He's not trying to, you know, make it seem like he knew what we all saw. And, you know, if you want to really get at it, you could say, in a sense, he was taking a dig at the other coach, because he said it's no secret what we were doing. So if it's no secret, I mean, we can leave it right there. So.
Yeah. Gonna play this other clip here.
Mike, considering the schedule you guys have had, you know, multiple days off, over a week off, Cleveland have been playing in this sort of every other day schedule. Did you think that fatigue could play a factor late in the fourth quarter if you hung around and you needed to have an extra energy burst like you had?
It's hard. You know, we did tell our guys. I mean, it is known that, you know, Cleveland's guards, they've played, you know, 50% more minutes than our guards, and so, you know, if you're playing every other day, could that take a toll? We told our guys it could take a toll, so stay with it, no matter what the score is down the stretch. But you don't really know if it does or not. You know, but you know, you hope, telling your guys that it gives you a little bit of a psychological advantage. You know, I'm gonna let out a secret. When I was with Golden State, we played Houston in the playoffs. We counted James Harden's dribbles, and you know, we told our guys, hey, he's dribbling close to 1,000 times. He's not doing that anymore because they got Donovan Mitchell. But at the time, we were like, he's dribbling almost 1,000 times a game. And, you know, our high guys, KD at like 300 or right below 300, keep picking them up full court, keep making them dribble, because at the end of the series, at the end of games, it's going to wear them down. And did it? Probably not, you know, but you know, you say stuff like that to help give your guys a psychological advantage. So I don't know.
So playing the psych games, saying, you know, about Harden dribbling and look, that's true, because what have they been saying about James Harden? He's has more turnovers than field goals a lot of games. And it's because that's why I never liked Harden's game. I always said that. He can play basketball. I don't like the way he plays basketball, because all that dribbling, like it says, it leads to fatigue, just like he said. That's why I play these clips, because he's right. At least you tire out and you have a higher chance to get turnovers, because you dangling the basketball all the goddamn time. Instead of the easiest thing to do in basketball is make a chest pass to get the ball from point A to point B. Now, it's other ways to pass the ball, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But that was fun. That's fundamental basketball. You know, so all the dribbling, trying to get to the hole, nah. That's why you play a team concept. What's your thoughts, Coach, before we get to it?
Psychological is key to everything. The mental is always key to everything in whatever sport. I always coach up my players' mental. And whether he's, speaking the truth or not, it does help your players and it gives them a little boost. And guess what it does? They put the pressure on Jose Alvarado, when he's in. He's putting that pressure on Harden. He's making him work. Oh, that's the other flip side. You're talking about the dribble, but now you're forcing him sometimes to go longer because he has to take different angles. Instead of taking a straight line walking up the court, sometimes he has to go left, to the right, to the left, to the right. It eats up time on the shot clock. So now you're not getting into your offensive possession fast enough. It is forcing him to work harder, not just dribble, but footwork. So he has to fight another man who's putting pressure on him, who's leaning on him. And again, it doesn't matter the sport. I've done that in football when I tell guys, lean on them, wear them down. Yeah, you do that, psychologically, and here's the other thing. If the opposition hears you saying it, it does get into their head. Damn, they're really going to make me work. So sometimes you mentally drain the opposition, not just physically, but mentally. So I love it, and I hope to see more mind game, chess moves in a sense, because this is what it's about. And y'all have heard me say it all the time, like with football. Sports to me is a chess match, Do you how many moves ahead do you think? Mike Brown is showing me that he's literally thinking, and it's not just for yesterday's game. He's thinking about 3-4 games down the road. He really is. So kudos to him, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, true that, man. Game two. Game two. What you thinking about game two? Because again, the Knicks still at home at MSG. Like, how are you feeling about game two, Coach? And do the Knicks need this game? Or how do you think they'll respond after that big comeback? Because that eats up a lot of energy too. You win the overtime. You had to come all the way back. I'm sure Brunson is tired, the work he put in, but yeah, that takes a toll on you too. What Mike Brown was mentioning about the fatigue factor. So how do you look at it, Coach? And how do you think the Knicks will come out in game two?
Game two to me is a must win for both teams. It is a must win. For the Knicks, you want to go up 2-0 going into Cleveland. Because Cleveland's job, no matter what, look, they didn't get game one. But really what they're trying to do is get one of two. Because that takes the momentum, that gives them the home court advantage. Going back into Cleveland and saying, look, let's focus on game three from there and see what we can do going forward. So it's a must win for the Knicks. They have to get this game. And again, for Cleveland, it's a must win for them because they don't want to go down 0-2. Now, for them, the previous series, they were down 0-2 and they fought back to win. Okay, I do respect that. So they have the experience, but in the same token, for the Knicks, it's a must win. You cannot lose home court advantage, first and foremost. And then secondly, for Cleveland, you want to split. You really want to split, and you know what they say, the series doesn't start until a road team wins. So, and it's still a lot of pressure on the Knicks because, they have the home court advantage and, everyone is talking about, they're getting to, they have the better shot of getting to the finals and all this and that. Still won on the basketball court. Yes, they came back to win. They were, previous show, Blaze said that they were resilient. Kudos to them. But in the same token, it's all for naught if you don't win game 2. It's all for naught to me. You gotta go to Cleveland up 2-0.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you right now. Just keep cooking James Harden. Put him in a blender. Put him in the skillet. Like, do what you gotta. Just keep going at him, and I don't care who he's guarding. You know what I'm saying? Because you want to make them adjust.
Mm-hmm.
Make them play out of comfort. Make them play uncomfortable. Because they would love to just have James out there, hit a 3 here and there and just be out there and be kind of shadow, hidden defensively. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I do think Cleveland will come out with better effort, but that was a devastating loss, man. You know what I'm saying? That was a devastating loss, and so I don't know. We shall see. All right, let's get into this Giants thing that I got that we're going to talk about OTAs here a little bit, and I want y'all to listen to John Harbaugh talking about the NFC East. So let me bring that up.
That hit was well placed. Could you add a little bit for the Washington Commanders, too? Throw them in there. Take that, too. Take that. Coach, they keep changing their name. I don't know what to call them. As much as I hate them, I think we can all admit we turn on the TV on Sundays and then we face the Eagles and the Cowboys, and a lot of the time they just kick our butts. How confident are you, Coach, that going into this season, we'll go into those Dallas games, those Eagles games, and those Commanders games, and we'll take them down?
Hey, I'm be nice and politically correct. I could care less about what's happened last year or the year before that or 10 years before that. I don't give a crap about any of it. Not one bit. All I care about is tomorrow's practice. Because if tomorrow's practice is the way it's supposed to be, that'll be one more step in the direction of being a good enough football team to kick the Cowboys' ass.
Yeah!
That's our job. That's our job to be good enough to do that. We got to make ourselves good enough to do that. That's our responsibility.
Right here. Down.
All right, so Harbaugh saying he wants to kick the Cowboys' ass. Yeah, what the fuck I'm talking about. Show some confidence for once. Damn, you got an adult around with some confidence, with some nuts. Yeah, whether you now, it's gonna be bulletin board for Dallas week 1. So fucking what? You need to have that locker room fired up, ready to go. Oh, our coach think we can kick the Cowboys. Let's go. As opposed to, we'll see, we'll keep working hard, keep getting better each and every day. Nah. He giving you a little bit of that, but also giving you the rah-rah, let's bring it home type energy. So I think that works psychologically for the team, and it gets the fans pumped up, and it gets the fans wanting to go to that game one, watch the Giants so-called kick the Cowboys' ass, as John Harbaugh said. Now, yeah, it puts pressure on you. You know, if you go out there and get your ass kicked, you look silly, but because they're going to use this clip, you know, all the way through till that game is over. But at the same time, I love it because you want to show that you are confident in your group of guys. And you can show that internally, but you can also show that externally. And when people see you show it externally by, you know, saying stuff in the media, then, you know, I think in that locker room, it gets those guys fired up too, because he's like, he's letting them know, you know, we're good enough, or we can be good enough to beat these teams, you know. And he just straight dissed the Commanders in the first part of it. I thought that was funny. Washington, but Coach, what you think, man? What you think about Harbaugh and what he said, man?
What I took from that may have been a little bit different than what you took. Yes, he did say all that. And it's the coach speak, per se. And it's playing to the fans. Yes, he did. He played to the fans. And I love it, saying kick Dallas ass. You know me. Anybody knows me. Y'all know I hate Dallas. So let's not get it misconstrued. But it's that last little bit, that last piece that he said. What I care about is tomorrow getting into practice and building so that you can go kick the Cowboys' ass. You're right. It is the psychological aspect. So he's also playing to the fans, but he's also telling the players, y'all got to come in here and fight for your job and learn how to practice so we can go down there and kick Dallas's ass, because that's what I want to do. That's what I took from that.
Okay. Definitely, man. Let's talk a little bit about the practice that they had. And so from John Smelt, shout out to Smelt, Giants.com. Giants had their second OTA today, and apparently it was Calvin Austin who was doing his thing out there. Caught a couple nice passes, and the Giants do have a little log jam at the slot when you factor in him, Gunner, and Darnell Mooney. So, but it says Austin stole the show of the offense on Wednesday on the first day of practice. He got free in the secondary, running across the field on an over route and caught a pass from Jackson Dart. Abdul Carter got into the backfield, but Dart got the ball out before the play was blown dead. Austin also caught a screen pass and bobbed and weaved his way through the defense, what could have been a huge gain for at least 30 yards. Dart also got the ball out to Austin against a Denard Wilson pressure package, hitting a slant after Austin beat press man coverage. With no safety help on that particular play, could have been a huge gain. Dart did a nice job getting the ball out quickly, and the offensive line gave him space to operate in the backfield. Austin also caught several other short passes throughout practice. Even though Austin had more production, it was tight end Isaiah Likely that had the top highlight of practice. Dart went to Likely, and his pass was a little high, but the tight end helped his quarterback by leaping into the air and plucking the ball out of the sky with one hand. It was a spectacular catch. Dart also made a couple other plays during practice, threading the needle to Gunnar Olszewski between defenders near the numbers. He went to Gunnar again in the same period, hitting him perfectly in stride over the middle on a crossing pattern for a big gain during 7-on-7s. On the next play, he squeezed the ball to Malachi Fields in a hole between two zone defenders on the left sideline. So some nice plays in there by Jackson Dart. I'm not going to read the whole practice report. Said Kayvon Thibodeau had a pretty active practice. Jason Pinnock was in there, made a couple plays, as did Chauncey Golston and Brian Burns. So there's your football part of this. But what are your thoughts, man, on this? It seems to me like they're gonna want to get the ball out quick. They're gonna want to get these guys in space, like Austin, like Mooney. Some of these guys that are a little bit quicker. Fields was making a couple plays too, not only in this practice but in the previous practice as well. So the reporters were noting that as well, Smelk and some of the other guys that were out there. Tomorrow we'll get we should get some actual clips because the media will be there active, so we'll be able to show those to you guys on New York Giants Conversation coming up Sunday. So stay tuned for that. But what's your thoughts on the practice report, Coach?
I mean, it sounds good. I mean, guys are out there making plays. They're competing against each other. I'd like a little bit more information in terms of, in football, you have a game plan that you're doing for practice also. Certain situations, whether it's short yardage, whether you're doing 7-on-7, whether you're doing 7-on-9, situations like that you're trying to instill and impose certain things and implement certain things. Certain plays you use for certain parts of the field. So, what is it? You sit down and you have segments to your practice. So segment 1 is this, segment 2 is this, segment 3 is this. Like, the players all know this. So yes, I'm being very analytical and I'm thinking beyond being a fan. So I can really absorb what they're doing. So because to me, yes, there are plays being made. I get it. Harbaugh is very strategic, and he knows what the hell he's doing. This ain't Dable out here. This ain't a first-time head coach. This is a well-experienced Super Bowl winning champion coach, and he knows how to instill a culture throughout the organization. And the field is just no other. It's just like in the offices and everything, with the staff, all this stuff, other stuff. What are they doing with each situation? What is it for? Is it a third down situation? Is it a 3rd and 7? These are the plays that we're looking to install for this situation. So yes, I want a little bit more. That's me, but it sounds good. You're hearing, guys making plays, whether on offense, whether on defense. We're close in certain situations. There's things that you're going to look at the practice film so you can be better, but overall, I mean, I like it. I would want more. So, but sounds good.
Yeah, man. I will say this. He is bringing a different vibe. And I think that the Giants are gonna have to. The Giants, they'll be playing off that. They'll be playing off that energy, man, because the energy with this team has been low, over the years, man. And it just it hasn't been good. You know what I'm saying? It had not been good. So and John Harbaugh is high on this defense too. You know, John Harbaugh's high on this defense. He talked a little bit about the corners and the safeties. So, you know, I think it's going to start with this defense. I think it's going to start up front, you know, and I think the offense can play off of that. You know, Giants definitely going to have to stop the run this year. Looking at your division, if you're talking about kicking the Cowboys' ass, you know, so got to make them one-dimensional. So real quick here, let's go to the Jets, and I do want to play this Breece Hall clip here. Remember, Breece signed that big deal with the Jets here. So let's go to Breece Hall and take a listen here.
For you personally, what haven't you shown that you would like to show?
I think it's a lot. Like I feel like for me, I was having this conversation a few days. Like I feel like I'm the only running back that's consistently a top 10 back in the league. That's not in the that hasn't in the past been always in the most ideal situation. So I feel like now, AG and Mooj, like, I feel like they really put me in position with all the guys we brought in and the team we're building around us to really flourish and for me to really be myself. So, God willing, we stay healthy and everything goes as planned. I feel like this could be my.
For you personally, what?
All right, so Breece Hall saying he hadn't always been in the best position. And he thinks that this team can flourish. This team can be good. Like they're in a better spot than they had been in his previous time here. I do like the fact that they brought in Geno Smith, a veteran. He's gonna be better than Justin Fields. Let's keep it a buck. No matter what you think about Geno, Fields was awful, bro. And like I showed, played you the clip of Kenyon Sadiq, the tight end. They got Omar Cooper Jr. and bringing back Breece Hall. I like what this Jets team is doing, and I think he's right in the fact that he hadn't been put in a good position. And you got Aaron Glenn, you got a guy that truly has the philosophy of, building. He's trying to do something similar, I believe, to what Harbaugh is doing with the Giants. Just Aaron Glenn doesn't have the experience, and the Jets don't really have a future quarterback to build around. But I do think the Jets want to run the football. They want to play bully football in the trenches with the D-line and the O-line, those offensive linemen, all them first-round picks they got over there on the offensive line. And with this running back, Braylon Allen, and those two tight ends, So, you heard that kid talk. Man, I just want to hit somebody. That's why I be playing these clips. You got to listen to what these players are saying and the mindset that they have as opposed to previous coaches and how some of these guys would just come in with a kind of a lackadaisical attitude. Why you think they got Sauce out of there? They got Quentin Williams, and Aaron Glenn is doing the same thing. He wants guys that want to play for the Jets. He wants guys that want to be here. He wants, people he can build around if they let him build. And I hope they do. But you shot this one to me, Coach, about the Jets and Breece Hall. So I figured I'd bring up a clip to let the people kind of hear what he was saying. But yeah, 3 years, $43.5 million contract. The offense is going to run through this man, in my opinion. But What you think?
When you really sit down and you look at the full scope of this, the Giants and the Jets are pretty much trying to do the same thing. You just said it. They're trying to have the running game. They're trying to play fundamentally sound and physical type of football on the defensive side of the football, using multiple tight ends and one, in a sense, elite level receiver. Now, the Giants don't have Neighbors right now coming back from injury, but you know, when you sit down and you really strip it back and you look at it, they're both trying to do the same thing. And that's what New York City has to really get in the mindset for. Because we're going back to New York City, New York tri-state area football, which is running the football and playing defense. Using the tight ends when you need to. If you have a top level receiver, you use them on occasion. You know, don't burn them out. But, you know, control the clock. Because that's what the run game is going to do. It's going to control the clock. And to be brutally honest with you, if I'm seeing games that are 17-14, it's not going to bother me. It's not going to upset me. And it's going to leave me, in a sense, especially if both teams are coming out on the winning side, very happy. You know, and I know most fans with fantasy football and betting and all this, you want high scores. I get it. But, you know, you're talking to an old school coach, man. 17-14, it's a beautiful game, man. It really is. So, but as far as the Jets, yeah, you're right. You said it perfectly. It's going through Breece Hall, and they're going to play defense.
Speaking of fantasy football, yeah, I think I'm gonna be looking at that tight end, Kenyon Sadiq over there with the Jets. I think that dude gonna be a monster, man. Just gonna say, don't sleep on the Jets, man. We'll be having more on the Jets as their OTAs get started, starting next week. Let's see. Any updates? Blue Jays and Yankees still no score. Yeah, still no score there. But yeah. So let me get into baseball real quick. All right. I do want to talk about this Subway Series. So Mets took 2 out of 3 from the Yankees over the weekend. 7-6, 6-3, and then they won the first one 5-2. That last one, of course, you had the blown save by Bednar. Yankees 30-19, 3.5 games behind the Tampa Bay Rays, who always seem to get good right at the right time. We finally got the Blue Jays down and the Red Sox down, and here come these suckers. So Tampa's up in the division, and the Yankees are getting back Gerrit Cole. Gerrit Cole coming back Friday, I believe. Gerrit Cole coming back Friday
against the Rays.
Against the Rays. Yep. And 3.5 games back. Now, are they rushing him back because Max Fried is hurt? You know, we did talk about Cam Ryan Weathers has pitched well. Will Warren, you got some guys out there. Is this a thing of bringing him back because are you panicking a little bit? Are you panicking a little bit? Because again, I said you 3.5 games. It is very, very early in the baseball season. And you're only 3.5 games out. And as I mentioned, you have Cam, you have Will Warren, you have Weathers, you got Rodon. I don't know what you think, Coach. I mean, are they rushing Gerrit Cole back? Starts Friday. I don't know. Is he ready? I mean, he did have some good work down in the minors.
Yeah, but the minors are totally different than the majors, though. I mean, I sent you the article. It said he was pitching around 99 in the minors, but when you come up to the majors, arm fatigue, all of that, also they're bypassing one of his minor league assignments to bring him up. So it does leave you wondering, are they rushing him? It really does. And you don't want to see, and don't forget, I mean, he's 35 years old. You don't want to bring him up too early. Like you said, it's early in the season. Sometimes it's better off, let him just get a few more, minor league starts. Let him rest a little bit more before you bring him up, because he didn't have a spring training. So that to me should be his spring training. Let him work on things, conditioning and arm strength. That's the biggest thing. Because you remember he's coming back from Tommy John surgery. So it's like,
yeah.
Whoa, hold your horses. And I get it. Freed went down. So, but it's not like Freed went down with a major arm surgery. What is it? An arm bruise or something to that.
Bone bruise, yeah.
Yeah, so, he got to, take some time, get his assignments. Okay, I get it. But, you still are, it's not like you're, 15 games out, 10 games out. You're 3.5, so, if you can get a game, if you can get the game or two against Tampa Bay, that cuts it to a 1.5 games. Ideally one all. Worst case scenario, if you lost 2 of 3, okay, you're pushing it to 5.5, but you still have the whole season. You still have more games. I wanted to be cautious a little bit more, but now look, I don't know. If they feel that he's ready, if the doctor's telling you that he's ready, then yes, bring him up and let's go. But, it's like, he's 35 years old. He's coming back from Tommy John surgery. I don't want him coming out here and let's just say, you don't want him overcompensating, something else comes up because he's, trying to overcompensate for his arm. So, that's just me. That's just how I see it.
No, that's spot on, bro. And they gotta be careful, because if he gets re-injured, it wouldn't. And if he comes back, he's ineffective. Because you've seen Rodon. They brought him back. He don't look like he's doing too great right now. So you do have to wonder, like, hey, is this guy ready to actually contribute? Like, are we just bringing him back to have him back to say, okay, he's back now? Or do you want him back to actually be the same guy that he was before? See, that's what I don't know. Maybe he is healthy, but is he healthy in the manner of like, okay, cool, now he's back to being the Gerrit Cole of old. You know, and, you know, I know that's going to take time and all that, but in the same sense, you know, I would rather be more cautious about this. You know, I would. You know, I wouldn't. I definitely wouldn't rush this. So again, Yankees. Like I said, you got Schiller right now, who's blanking the Blue Jays through 5 innings, 6 strikeouts. So I don't know. Got a man on right now on second. So we'll see. But that's all I got for the Yankees. Weekend for the day. Yeah, I said we did OTAs. All right, we can go to the culture segment. And hold on. All right. So this week's culture segment, top 5 people that influenced you most as a child growing up. So thought about this one a lot, and I do have a list. Do not necessarily have slides due to the fact that, first off, I do have a album of pictures, but it's an actual picture album book. So yeah, I'm old school like that. So I got a ton of stuff on the internet, but I'll show y'all what I got. But top 5 people that influence you the most in your life. Shout out to you, Coach, for this topic, and I'm ready to dive into it. Let's get it. Let's hit it. All right. Time for coaching segment, man. You got the slides, so I'm gonna let you set this one off, Coach. And I'll get into my list after you. But top 5 people that influence you the most. Coach, take it away.
All right. In this journey, I've covered people who, you know, during my youth and my adolescent, you know, right up until, you know, that adult time, right before that adult time frame in a sense. So, and I'm talking around like right before, you know, your for me around 19 or so. You know, these people played a very important role in my life. So That's pretty much it. I'm going to get right into it, and I'm going to start at number 5.
Number 5.
Coach Gary Palmer Sr. First of all, shout out to someone who I consider my bro. His son, Gary Palmer III. We call him Quickie, but right there, you're looking at, the pictures of Coach Palmer. That very first picture, he was the head coach of, our Pop Warner team called the Plainfield Redskins. And this is the inner city league team. So all the teams were in Plainfield, and we were on the Redskins. And that first picture is there of the Redskins, so right there with the red helmet, the typical Redskin helmet with the gold uniforms, because back then no one was wearing the gold. So, and then you see Coach Palmer, with his family. That's the man, the myth, gave me my start. Talked to me, put me in a position to be a coach and grow, to what I am today. So without him, as far as coaching, I wouldn't be the coach in a sense. So, he's always been someone who I looked up to, who knows the game. I just had a great deal of reverence, still do to this day, man. So, but Coach B, that's it. So, coming in at number 4.
Number 4.
Coach Dunn. He was my D-line coach my first year in college, man. He taught me a lot, not just playing, but also thinking the game. He also played at North State College, which is actually King, the school I played for. He was a teacher in the Elizabeth School District, very, very astute, very smart man. Really taught me a lot about the technical aspect of being a player, and really helped my game. He's a Hall of Famer actually for King. He helped, King, North State at the time didn't have a program when he first went to college. He only played 2 years, and because that's all he had. He was a Hall of Famer, football and lacrosse. And when he played both sides of the ball, and he was a starter. And the stories that I heard and did my research, the man was a true student of the game, and was definitely a tough player. So there you have it, Coach D, Coach Jerome. Definitely helped me elevate my mental aspect in terms of the game of football. So I'm in at number 3.
Number 3.
Mr. Marsh. He was my social studies history teacher. He ran the debate team, taught economics. He also did the announcements. It was so funny. He had a radio voice, and there's one time I was talking to him, I'm like, you have a radio voice, and because he lives in Pennsylvania, he says, I actually do the radio in my local township. And I was just so amazed. He has that deep voice, but very clear and articulate. And as an educator, that's how he spoke to you. Dealing with a lot of kids from an urban background, but every student loved him. When I tell you they loved him because of how he came to you and talked to you and taught you. There's some teachers who just tough-minded and not Mr. Marsh. Mr. Marsh was A-okay, right on point, and I'm friends with him on Facebook. So, and this is where I got all these pictures right off of Facebook. So it was just like, Mr. March, and he's the reason why I love history so much, man. Because of him. So he really introduced me to the game of history, and I'm forever thankful for him. Coming in at number 2.
Number 2.
My grandmother, Gwendolyn Gigi Sullivan, woman who came up to this country from Antigua, initially came by herself before bringing my mother and my uncle up. Hard working woman, worked in the hospital, was there for people. She ain't take no joke. She ain't take no junk from no one. But when she spoke to you in terms of love and care. Even in the neighborhood right there in Brooklyn, on Halsey Street, everyone looked out for her. If anybody was in the streets, they made sure nobody messed with Mrs. Sullivan. If they thought anybody, they would put sport on people. My grandmother was respectable, Christian woman, very Christian. Look, if you did wrong, she gonna spank you. But then she would sit down and she would talk to you, and tell you why, and she always said, I spank you because I love you, and that stuck with me, because it wasn't that, you as a kid, you would think that, my parents or my grandparents, they don't love me, but she told you, I love you. I spank you because I love you, because I don't want you to do wrong. I want you to do right, because if not, you're going to end up in trouble. And, and she always say, and that will break my heart. And, you don't want to break Gigi's heart, man. So, my grandmother, I loved her to death. So, there you have it. And coming in at number 1.
Number 1.
My parents, man. Both my parents. Even though when they divorced, I was, a teenager. They were still in my life, no matter what. Mother, right there, with me, my siblings, a few years ago. She's always there. She's willing to give you the shirt off her back. She's also hardworking, would always work hard. She worked hard to put us into parochial school at one point. All 4 kids, she would pay for it. She even worked 2 jobs when she had to, came home, cook, do laundry, all of that, taking care of kids. When my dad, who was in the military, was away, she was running the household, doing everything that she needs to do to make sure that, we were well taken care of. So, and my dad, and both my parents are very smart, very articulate, my mother, people always say, when they spoke to her, they swore she was a Caucasian woman because of the way she talked. And, she's very smart. She's extremely book smart. There were times, we used to teach her, Ma, you're not street smart, you're book smart, but, she was always loving. And like I said, give and do everything for her family, even till this day. And my dad, still the same way, tough, wanted us to do right, whoop our ass when we did wrong, but, now as adults, we understand it was out of love, that's why he did it. He made sure that, we didn't end up being complete knuckleheads. Yeah, we dabbled a little bit in the street, but, we knew right from wrong, and, he loves us. He still loves us to this day. He calls me whenever he can. If when I was in the hospital, he lives in South Jersey. He would come up and check on me, be there. Even into his, he's in his 80s, into his mid 80s. So, but always hard working like this, like my mother. Worked overnight so my mother could work during the day. When he was in the reserves, eventually. So, but yeah, he was always there, loving and being there for his kids, and that's why I am the way I am with my kids. Because my dad was always there. And that's how my brothers and I are with our kids. Because of our dad. So there you have it. Those are the biggest influences in my life, whether on sports or just in life as a whole. So there you have it.
All right, man. Yeah, man. Definitely, Coach, man. I know the impact coaches can have, and family. So, that's what this is about. So I'm gonna get into my list. But like I said, I don't have any slides, but I'm gonna give you a little scoop on some of the people that was involved in my life and why they were important. So coming in at number 5.
Number 5.
So one thing that you don't know about me was when I was a kid, I was in Boy Scouts. I was actually a Boy Scout, and we used to go on a lot of trips with our troop 219. And yes, I made Eagle Scout. I was very good at that. Like, I could tie knots, fish, hunt. Like, we did a lot. But my Scoutmaster put together a lot of that. Courtney. So Courtney coming in at number 5, my Scoutmaster. And the reason he's on this list because not only did I learn a lot doing that, they used to clown us by being in Boy Scouts. But do you know this man took us to California on a trip? We got to go to Disneyland. We went upstate New York, man. We would go all over. Like, this is the person that's got me traveling, to be honest with you, outside of the trips my dad, my parents take me. But like, yeah, it was a big impact. I will say that. So shout out to Courtney. Talked to my brother, who said that he spoke to him a little while ago. I believe he's still doing okay. So again, I don't have a tight as knit a circle as I used to, but still want to give that shout out to Courtney, ex-Scoutmaster or whatever. All right, number 4.
Number 4.
Number 4 was my coaches. Particularly my basketball coach, man. We had an old coach. We had Coach Saunders, Coach Bob, Coach Diggy, like a bunch of basketball coaches, and I learned something for each and every one of them. So shout out to them. Being a sports fan, growing up in New York, we all love to play basketball. That was something we could do quick, easy, get a ball, go to the park. Of course, as I do with a lot of things, I wanted to take it to the next level and had, hoop dreams, you know what I mean? So, but my coaches always gave me confidence, and helped me develop my game. Like I say, I was one of those 3-and-D guys that they say, So sometimes I would have to guard the best guard on that team, and these dudes were competing to go to like big time colleges, or they were projected to go to colleges. Of course, this was when I was younger, but shout out to my basketball coaches, Bob, Diggy, Coach Saunders. There's a bunch of other ones. Played for a lot of different teams throughout my childhood, AAU, as well as my high school. Well, not my high school, but my middle school and public school teams. All right, number 3.
Number 3.
Number 3 is just my brothers. I'm gonna show you. I do have some Facebook stuff I could show you guys real quick. We gotta add to the stage here. Exhibit 1. So it's a picture of me and 2 of my brothers there with my son. So This is my little brother and my little brother Travis, my older brother Jeff right there, and his son, his nephew. And then there's my New York brethren, Reels, Almighty, T-Gar, Shy, G. And again, so, yeah, man, I would never say that I was raised in the streets, but the streets taught me a lot. My brothers taught me a lot. I got a lot of different brothers, so this is not even all of them, but as far as an impact on your life, I feel like definitely I got to put all of them in there and not just one particular person, because that would be ingenuine, not genuine, not being real, because it wasn't just one. Like my brother Reels, still right here in VA with me, my brother Travis, who is still right here in VA, as well as Jeff. And that to me is, as far as growing up, even though, I got little brothers and older brothers, still from the impact of, having your older brothers look out for you and you looking out for your younger brothers. That's kind of how, things went in my in my era, so it's like, wasn't fair, you go get the big brother, you know what I'm saying, go get the bigger brother for the bigger brother. But in all seriousness, man, love my bros, definitely learned a lot from them. Number 3. Number 2. Number 2 is my grandmothers. So 3 grandmas. My dad's grandmother, my grandma Jane, old country woman. And she introduced me to a thing called a switch that I was not privy to knowing about. And when I got a hold of that, or when that got a hold of me, your boy felt it. Different kind of hurt. But yeah, she was sweetest woman, very homebody. And she was real nice until you didn't listen. That's when that switch came out. My other grandma, my grandma Noonie, my mom's mom, she really bonded with me, because I was her only grandson for a while, up until she passed. But yeah, man, like she had me watching scary movies and just kicking back on the couch. I remember always wanting to do that, as a kid, just to stay up. Well, you could stay up, but I'm watching this movie. All right, I'm gonna watch it with you. So my grandmother was real cool. She would give you anything. Probably the kindest human being I've ever met, as far as just willing to offer what she had to someone else. And then, of course, my bros, my stepbrothers, my grandma, Miss Franklin, and of course, she had an impact on my life due to the fact that, I spend a lot of time there, with my friends, with my brothers, and, she was always open and welcoming, and anything that she could do for you, she would do it, and I always helped her with groceries. And, I don't want to be like long-winded here, but just speaking on impact, just trying to show you guys the impact that some of these people had on in my life, because, you know, I didn't have the natural family structure of just a mom and a dad in a household and a kid. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't like that for me, you know. So number 2, my grandma's, but number 1, we'll get to number 1.
Number 1.
All right, number 1 is my pops. Probably could have predicted that be number 1. Biggest impact on my life, because that's the person that raised me to the brother you see right here today. And you can show the picture of me. And remember, we talked about you remember we talked the other day about Prospect Park, and that right there is me and my pops in Prospect Park in the 80s. Yes, that is me with the shades on in the big wheel, believe it or not. So that is the youngest picture I have of myself. Well, I think I got a baby picture, but it's one of the youngest pictures I have of myself. And Pops was just a G, just a real dude, ex-military, so ain't take no shit, always on point, always on guard. But, you know, he had that hood mentality, you know, was a single man for a long time during my life until he got married later on, or remarried. And yeah, person I am today, part of the person I am today, a lot of the reason I am the person I am today is because of the man right there on your screen, and my ass and the big wheel, just trying to pick up any knowledge I can get, you know, from dad, from pops. And that, look, talking about people that influenced you, you're always gonna go to your parents. But me, I was raised by my dad, so that's really why I am the way I am today, so to speak. But number 1, my dad in the picture right there with the big wheel, myself. Miss those days. Prospect Park, we used to go out there all the time. Like I said, that's why in that last culture segment, I was telling y'all about Prospect Park, how we used to go out there and just camp out, chill, ride bikes, do whatever. But yeah, that's my top 5. Sorry I didn't have this whole slideshow ready for y'all today, but when I got to thinking about it, is a slideshow really wouldn't have done this one justice, because I can't even explain it through words. You see, I'm mumbling of the impact of the people on this list, but that's what I got, man.
Good shit, man. And you did fine, man. You can feel the impact that they had on you. So, I understand. Believe me, I understand.
Yeah.
Like I said,
I don't
my
like to
dad
get emotional on these shows, so I try to hold it.
Nah, it's not.
My pops
You
was
feel
there.
the emotion. Look, I understand. My pops, raised 4 kids. Well, technically, even my cousin who ended up living with us, because my uncle wasn't acting right. He lifted. I get it. Military. When my parents divorced, he took care of all his kids. My mom's was still there. It's not like she wasn't. So, it was just, we lived with my dad, and my mom felt it was best that we, stay with him because he was a very disciplined man. So,
and my mom was in my life too. Shout out to my mother.
So Nick,
I live with my pops. He had the most impact on me. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. Nick, what's good with you, man? Appreciate says Shamit, man. Yeah, everybody talking about Shamit, man. Good shit by the Knicks, though. Good shit by you, Coach, for this topic, coach's segment, and we're gonna hit the we're gonna hit the highway, man, and take this one home, man, with Coach's Corner. So I'm gonna let you ride with that. And this was good. Good shit.
All right. Well, ready for another episode of Coach's Corner. Today, going to touch a little bit more, but it's going to be a quick one in a sense because I really got everything down pat. So, don't need to stay on it too long. So let's get right into it. Starting with the New York Liberty. Liberty right now off to a 3-1 start. Now they've been off for a week. Now tomorrow, they're going to be playing their first game since last week when they beat Portland in Portland. They're going to be hosting Golden State, the Valkyries, with former Liberty Kayla Thornton, who helped New York win the championship, comes to town. So it's going to be an interesting, in a sense, a step up in competition. So definitely looking forward to seeing what the Liberty can do tomorrow, especially with a week off. A lot of other things going on, so I'm gonna touch on that in a little bit. Also, I want to give a shout out to Stewie. Breanna Stewart was named Eastern Conference Player of the Week because of how she started the season. So she's out there doing her thing, putting up over 20 points a game, rebounding, blocking shots. I mean, she's out there doing it all. So kudos to her. She won for the East. The ever incomparable Aja Wilson won for the West. So, I'm not going to go too far into that. So now, also with tomorrow's game, I'm going to be keeping an eye out because right now, the thought is that Sabrina Ionescu, who's been out since the start of the season, and Satu Sabli, the big acquisition, are going to be making their season debut, either both of them or one of them. So we're going to see. Hopefully we can get both of them in. New York right now is going to be playing, I believe it's 7 home games. So this is a time for them to really get acclimated and get into the swing of things and really get our full roster because New York hasn't had their full roster. They've had literally half their roster to play so far. Also, Leonia Phoebish and Carrera are going to be coming over from Europe. They just finished their season. They're playing in the championship in Europe and coming away with the victory. So Rachel Carrera and Leonia Phoebish are going to come. They're going to add great depth to the roster. Now, is Phoebish going to be starting or coming off the bench? We don't know. So, but they're needed with certain players with the injuries, coming back from injuries. You also have Benijah, who may not play tomorrow because she's dealing with some personal issues. So, we're hopefully they're back in time and they're going to be playing. But hopefully by next week they're going to be fully back and ready to go. So, come Sunday, it's going to be a big game though. The Liberty are going to be hosting Paige Beckers and the Dallas Wings. So that's going to be a big game. That's actually going to be on Sunday at 3:00 on NBC, and it's a national televised game. So it's going to be a big thing. Seeing Paige Becker, former UConn superstar, coming back to the area. Also, AZ Fudd, who's also the number 1 pick for Dallas, also from UConn, and is Paige's girlfriend. They're coming back to the area. So it's going to be a big game to see what the Liberty can do and what the Wings can do against the Liberty. So the last thing to close out with the Liberty, shout out to Wemby. What most people don't realize, people have been talking to him about his game, shooting off of 1 foot. He talked about that. He says it's a natural thing for most people to shoot off of 1 foot. And he gives kudos to his fellow French person who plays for the Liberty, Marine Johannes. she's the master of shooting off of one leg. Her 3-pointer, sometimes that one-legged kick that she gives and the high arc that she has. And if you look at Wemby, a lot of his shots are high arcing. And he spoke about how Marine has been an influence. So, and last year they have a picture on Twitter where they're side by side, where both of them is wearing the opposites jersey. They were playing literally at the same time. So they, wanted to represent their countrymen and wear their jersey. So, and Wemby, right now, my understanding, he's a fan of the Liberty. So as long as Marine is here. So there you have it. So going to close that out with the Liberty, and we're going to move on to St. John's. So, and right now with St. John's, I have the article too in my phone. Kudos to St. John's baseball. So because I wanted to start with them in reference to that. And where is it? Here it is. And St. John's baseball received some awards, some postseasons awards. Their coaching staff was awarded Big East Coaching Staff of the Year. They also had 7 players who earned all Big East selections, whether first team or second team. So that's a big thing. They claimed, St. John's claimed the program's league record 10th Big East regular season championship. And head coach Mike Hampton and the staff were named the Big East coaching staff of the year, in addition to the 7 players. Now, the 7 players, John LeGrand, Liam O'Leary, and Adam Agreski, earned all Big East first team, while Jay Deere, Ray Strager, Luis Rodriguez, Sean McMillan, and Evan Hochul, they were all Big East second team. So this is a big thing for them. It's the second time in 3 years that the coaching staff earned the All Big East Coaching Staff of the Year. And he's also garnered the recognition 7 times as a member of the previous coaching staff. So kudos to him and the St. John's baseball team. So I'm also going to talk about the basketball team, St. John's basketball team. They're doing their thing. They're bringing in some talent. They're replacing the talent that is leaving. So here it is. They signed international standout Quinn Ellis, European wing DeGeorgi Jovanovic, and center Theo Edma. They also got commitments from Kyle Koof and Baybakar Sane. And this was all done 2 days ago, these commitments and the signing. So the basketball team just keeps reloading, man. They keep getting the talent to come to St. John's and be part of the growing trend of St. John's basketball. So hopefully before long, they're going to be competing for not only the Big East title again, but, maybe in the Final Four, dare I say. So I'm going to move on to another Big East team, and we're going to talk about the UConn Huskies. Just quickly, the men's program, they're going to host Purdue next year in a preseason exhibition. It's a big thing. It's going to be Tuesday, October 27th. I don't have any location as of right now, but that's a big thing because Purdue is one of the top teams in the Big Ten, and UConn, we know what they are, who they are. So this is going to be a good thing to get them kick-started to the season, especially playing a preseason game against a high-level program like that. Now, moving on to the next slide there, going to be talking a little bit of Rutgers and Syracuse. They're actually finalizing, this is per John Rothstein. He reported it today on Twitter. the two schools are finalizing an agreement to play at the Barclays next season. Now, there is no date, or time as of yet, but definitely be on the lookout for that. Two former Big East programs playing right there in Brooklyn at the Barclays Center. This is what, we love and we need and we want, especially in the New York area, especially with Syracuse having Keon Anthony on the team. I don't think he's coming out. So what better way for him to come play in Brooklyn, his dad's home turf. So we'll see what happens there. So, and the last thing I want to close out with in terms of Rutgers, kudos to Dylan Harper for making the all-rookie first team and Ace Bailey for making the all-rookie second team. So both of those draft picks from Rutgers made the all-rookies team, whether first or second team. So kudos to them for making that list. And hopefully Rutgers will be better this year. They continue to bring in some recruits. They even got one today, but haven't gotten any too much information to really put it into the show as of yet. But we'll see going forward. So that's going to be it for Coach's Corner. There's a sinkhole at LaGuardia Airport. Looks like it closes the runways until 10 a.m. tomorrow.
What happened?
I'm looking at the news. It says LaGuardia sinkhole closes the runways until 10 a.m.
Sinkhole?
A sinkhole. So, that's big.
Hey, yeah. But yeah, shout out to you, Coach. Good Coach's Corner. So we got Rutgers and Syracuse at the Barclays now. We got the Liberty. We got the Nets. All right. All right. Well, not too bad. Yeah. But that's all we got for tonight. Big Pat. How do we do? And how do we need to get better, bro?
Did very well tonight, man. Not too many things that you guys messed up tonight. I think you guys hit on all cylinders. Love the culture segment. That culture segment hits home. People that you admired growing up. I could say my Uncle Phil, the one that put me in sports. I talk about him all the time. He wanted me to like the Bears, but I like the Giants. And I was glad that he got to see the Cubs win a championship before he left this plane. My mother, most especially, number one. She was there, helped raise me. Didn't have a pops in my life, so it was a couple of male figures that I had in my life. Growing up, a teacher, Miss Howard. Kindergarten, she wanted to be like, boy, you coming up here by yourself on the bus? And so she started. I was only 5 years. I was 5 years old. I had her from kindergarten all the way to third grade. When I left kindergarten, she went to start teaching normal grades first through third, and that was my teacher. I guess she was following me. I don't know what happened, but she was the one that gave me a ride when I was 5 years old, catching the bus. She saw people were having me do things that I wasn't supposed to do. She came to the block, told them to stop, and they had to respect that. That was Miss Howard. She was dope. 79th and Champaign, man. But it is what it is, man. She helped out when didn't have a ride to school and things. And one of the people I want to admire before we get out of here, don't want to take too much time, is my cousin Pete, man. That dude was 18 years old, man. Got his own apartment. And he let me come over there and stay with him like I was his son. You see what I'm saying? So one for him, man, and my brother BG, man. Those are the two pretty much father figures I had in my life. Chewy, my other cousin Chewy, Eric, my other cousin, and my brother BG, because all my other brothers were older and they were gone. So I just had them, and
Aunt Fran, Aunt Lisa. Those are the people that I had in my life growing up. And yeah, you can get a little sentimental thing about people that, made you the person that you are today. Whether it's good or bad, you know what I'm saying? You are that person.
And I will say this, not to cut you, but honorable mention, you motherfuckers.
Yeah, that's what I was getting to. Coach, you especially, man, you made me believe in myself to know that, hey, I do have knowledge of this game, and people, I can talk to coaches and executives, and they be like, yeah, you do know a little bit what you're talking about, and you enhance that. You pretty much really got me started to making this into a professional type thing, you and NYG. Because at first it was just me talking noise about the Giants, but you brought the professional thing to me, and NYG brought the organization to it. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, you two dudes, yeah. I didn't grow up with you, but I grew up with you. So that's it for me, man. I'll go back to the dungeon, man.
I'm going to say this. No, you don't got to leave right now, Pat. And this is why this is important, because as Black men, minority men, Aboriginal men, African American men, however you want to categorize it, society tries to dictate us in a certain way, in a certain lens, and try to paint us as not truly having people who impacted us, growing up. But we are showing that's not the narrative. And there are many more like us that are out there in society. Many more. It's just that society paints. They take the negative and they run with that, and it's in every facet of life. You look at the news and you see about crime and negativity, where when we talk about it, yes, it's sentimental and it hits home, but it's hitting home for a reason, and it's showing that those of you who are watching, we all really, it doesn't matter if you're Black, white, Latino, Asian, whatever. One way or another, we've all had people who've influenced us to get us to where we are in life. Yes, there are some who, they've gone down the wrong path. But I guarantee you, even those who, end up going down the wrong path, they more than likely did have people who were there telling them what's right and wrong. They just chose to go down the wrong path. It's not always about their living, their life, and the environment they're in. How many young brothers and sisters come from disenfranchised environments and communities but make it out? And they're running businesses, they're running corporations. So, this narrative that is tried to be painted just because, and look, there are white people that come from poor communities, and you know what? They're also in a sense held back, but they're held back more quietly, because in the end, I always tell people this, it's about the economics more than anything. The rich just want to keep getting richer and hold everyone else back no matter what. And they want to divide and conquer us on the lower end, Latinos, whites, Asians, Blacks. They want to keep us separate, because if we come together collectively and we show, look, we all have pretty much the same background, family backgrounds, education for the most part, but the rich don't want us to come together, because they see if we come together, first and foremost, what are we going to do? We're going to take our dollars and we ain't going to support them. And guess what? They ain't going to have as much money as they want anymore. So that's the thing that, that's why when I mention this is why this is important to me, because all the people that I talked about that inspired me and they had an impact on me, they really did. Coach Palmer, Coach Dunn, Mr. Marsh, my grandmother, my parents, yes, they did. Am I perfect? No, but I mean, if you look at Edward Rommel Gladney's life history, you're gonna be like, yo, he was okay. I mean, you know, he wasn't out here trying to hurt nobody or whatever. He was hardworking when he could, and he took care of his family. And I'm proud of that. So, and you brothers, you know, seeing it like I'm seeing more and more, and I'm learning more and more. You guys are just like me. You really are. You know, you're just younger than me. You're not as handsome and as sexy as me. but we really are the same. We really are.
I'll say one last thing.
Mm-hmm.
And for the people that are watching, this is the message that I want to get out to people. And you take it how you want to take it. I can rule the masses with very few. A group of 10,000 can rule over 1 million if those 1 million people are individuals.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that. Because if my 10,000 can attack each individual, I win every time. And I can have you thinking that you're the minority when you're not. You want a better world? The only way you get it is by unity. That's the only way. I don't care if you want to do it by force. I don't care if you want to do it by thinking. I don't care if you want to do it by strategic. You have to be a unit. No matter what that goal is. And that's just life. If you're not a unit and you're an individual, you're done. Because whatever that unit is, no matter if they want to destroy, help, conquer, it doesn't matter. They're a unit and you're one person. And you can only do so much as an individual. I just want to leave it at that.
Well said.
Well said, brother. All right, man. That is a show. So please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button. It is free and you get free content and jewels, knowledge, and culture. New York City culture. Heart of the city, man. Been doing this one for a few years now, and we're still trying to grow this show. So help us out. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, and share this on your social media platforms. It will help us out. But that's all we got. Game 2 tomorrow night. Knicks Cavs. Y'all stay tuned right here on the Aboriginal Sports Network. We're going to have Man Cave on the call. I might be there with him. So, yeah, man, we getting pumped up here. It's New York. It's heart of the city. Y'all know what it is, man. But like we always do at this time, we up out of here. Take us out, Pat.
All right. Thank you for watching Heart of the City. Like and subscribe. Road to 1,000. Get us there. Peace.
Let's do it. Peace.